Hello and welcome to more Tenchu Time of the Assassins. Today we are going to start Ayame's campaign, so that should make this a much sexier playthrough. So let's go ahead and get started. You could probably tell in the last video that I'm losing interest in reading these mission briefings. So from now on I'm going to only summarize them. So you can pause them if you want to read them. I will still read the dialogue during the... I can't really call them cutscenes. I guess story progression? Whatever you want to call them. This one is pretty basic. It's just talking about what Ayame was up to after fighting with Tenrai. It mentions that she went off scouting other lands and came back to visit Goda, and it had been a long time since she had seen him. And he mentions that there's a traitor, which gets brought up in this cutscene. Oh yes, friends, we're actually going to get a cutscene. Huzzah!
There is word that we have spies in our midst. Ayame, I want you to see if this is true, and if so, to deal with the situation.
You make it sound like it'll be easy.
This is not a time for wit. There are also reports of ninjas being spotted near the castle. You need to find out who they are and stop them immediately.
All right, just leave it to me.
I'm counting on you, Ayame.
That's one of the more memorable tracks from Tenchu 3, Wrath of Heaven. That music played during the missions in Goda Castle. My God! Ninjas are afoot! And spies! What are we gonna do? The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world! Okay, in this case, we're a ninja, not a mouse trying to take over the world. Ah, listen to that music. This is one of my favorite pieces of music in this soundtrack. Even though it's from another game soundtrack. Ha-ha! I am less impressed with Ayame's voice actress in that last cutscene than I was in the previous one. Though still, I'm always happy to get a cutscene. I much prefer that to the text dialogue that we get throughout the rest of this game. I do like this level design. I like at least the opportunity to stealth kill enemies by hanging off of roofs and then jumping down on them. Unfortunately, I don't find many opportunities to do that in this level, if any. That previous guy that we killed, I could have done it there, if I had thought about it. There's one other guy I think I could have done that too. This guy comes up way too far and takes forever to get here too. That's what you get for wasting my time, motherfucker! You see what I mean? Really good music. Every time you hear that squelching sound, if an enemy is going to drop an item, that's when they will drop it. This is the advantage of the save states. I could look around here so that I know what's going on when it came time to record this. There's a dude over here, so I wanted to make a beeline for this barrel so that I have some cover. This is the other guy that I can think of that I might have been able to hang off of a building and kill. If I had really wanted to do that. Which I did. But instead we're hanging about by this barrel. And this is one of the few times that I'm showing my waiting around on this enemy. Usually I cut stuff like this. This is just to give you an idea of what you're normally missing. That part of the soundtrack reminds me of part of the soundtrack in Mission 7 in the first Tenchu game. This part doesn't. Good piece of music. We heard it last video in the second of the 3 missions that were in last video. That mission where you couldn't kill anybody as Ricky Maru. That mission cost me my no item run. Although in fairness, I did use smoke bombs against Onikage. Though, I probably could have defeated him without them. It just might have taken a few tries. This is another dude that took forever to move into position where I can do that. That's probably my favorite of Ayame's stealth kills. I would like to show off all of the stealth kill animations, but sadly I don't think that's happening. I'm pretty sure there's one where if an enemy is facing you right as you perform the stealth kill. This guy dropped an item, I'm just coming back for it. Then you get a unique animation. I know in Tenchu 2 that's the case. I'm not 100% sure about this game. Now here's where I'm a bit hazy on where to go. I did a lot of exploring. Obviously what you guys are seeing is the right path. Reasonably anyways. Actually I think this is just an extra stealth kill, which we probably need for the rank. I am trying for an all Grandmaster rank playthrough. Still not sure if I'm going to do the other characters' campaigns. On one hand, I want to. I am having fun with this game, but the recording process gets annoying trying to record the dialogue for these cutscenes. I will take out my frustrations on this guy. Haha! Motherfucker. That's what you get for messing with the Ayame. I know, he didn't actually do anything to her, but that's because he didn't see her. Had he seen her, he would have gotten all mad and tried to kill her. It would not have been a good time. Then I would have to kill him anyways. So I figure I might as well just kill him now, while he's not looking. Make life easier on myself. The first time I was coming down here, I was able to do this a lot more smoothly than on my recorded run. Figures that would happen. But we made it nonetheless. What I was not expecting for this mission was a boss fight, which we are going to get. Oh yes, kids, you got to see me use the map. I'm not a big fan of the maps in these games. It could be just my blindness, though. And we are not doing a no-item run for Ayame. I don't like doing that. I know they are computer-generated characters. They're not real animals, but I'm still not in love with the idea of doing that. But if I walked past that thing, it was going to see me and cause me problems. And we can't be having problems. Life gives me enough problems on its own. I don't need to add to that. Ricky Maru, what the hell are you doing here? What are you doing here? That's what I'm asking you. Are you deaf? I don't have to answer to you. You're another imposter. I saw one of you in the last game. You do come pretty close to the real thing. Must be easy to look like that. Very well. I'll just shut that smart mouth of yours. Permanently. And then no one else will ever be the wiser. Yeah, that ain't happening, Chief. This dialogue is filled with so much modern terminology. I know it has to be translated into English, but still, it's kind of funny. Yep, in Wrath of Heaven, we had to fight an imposter who was pretending to be Ricky Maru. I would like to say I did this without taking any damage, but that's not the case. As far as I know, there's no lock-on button. I think that's the only hit I take, though, but I'm not sure. Ah, you cheater! How dare you! Have a sense of pride and honor! You get! Uh-oh. The camera is so bad in this game that if you don't have the enemy facing you, it can be kind of annoying.
That's no use.
You have to crouch down. One thing that is interesting is bosses can lose you. This is the first of 2 times I've experienced so far in this game. Oh yeah, and mission 4, which I've already completed, that'll be in next video. There's a boss in that one too.
The enemy.
You can't stealth kill them though. Unlike Tenchu Z, which Tai is playing. Take it, you imposter! Well, whatever you're up to, you had guts, I'll give you that. Nothing else, though. Huzzah, that's mission 1 down. We found out that somebody was imitating Rikimaru. Let's go ahead and see what's going to happen in mission 2. And now we have smoke bombs, so I could not have used them for that boss fight anyways. Apparently Rikimaru has gone missing, and Ayame has been searching for him. She gets a letter from somebody I'm going to call Mafuyu, after the guy in Fatal Frame 1 who enters into a ghost marriage with his sister. It's creepy, it's disgusting, it's Japan. What do you want? This letter tells Ayame that Rikimaru has been captured by Onikage. Who would have thought it would have all come down to Onikage? I mean, he's the only recurring villain in this series, besides the Echigoya family. I don't believe it. Rikimaru was captured by Onikage? I guess I'd better look into this. How does Mafuyu know that? This sets a weird precedent for the story, which we will find out more about next video. This is actually a pretty short mission, and can go pretty well if you know what you're doing. If you don't, then it could be problematic, I suppose. This game has a lot of wooded areas. I think Tenchu 2 had an excess of wooded areas as well, if I remember correctly. But it has been years since I played that game. Aha! Something really weird happened to me. On Friday, it's Tuesday now. I felt extremely drained. I'm not really sure why. I know I wasn't getting that much sleep the previous week, but still, not enough to cause me to feel that tired. I hope I wasn't trying to come down with something, because it kind of felt that way. So I slept a little bit Friday night. I'm just trying to pick up that item. Saturday night, or I guess technically Sunday morning, I went to bed at like 2 or 2:30, probably closer to 2. I stayed in bed until 1:15 in the afternoon Sunday. I was up for a couple of hours and then I went back to sleep for 2 or 2.5 hours. Got up at like 5:30 in the afternoon. Then that night when I did finally go to sleep, I actually got a few hours as well. I figure I slept about 18 hours in a 28-hour time span. And then I paid for it last night by not being able to sleep. Things are crazy, I tells you, crazy! I know not the most entertaining story in the world, but I do have to fill the space. And there's not really much to talk about here other than kill dudes. Don't get spotted. Be angry that the game wouldn't let me just sidle along the wall without having to get around that stupid thing. Fortunately, this guy didn't see me. And that will be his undoing! Booyakasha! I was really concerned while playing this because my controller is dying. I bought a new one, so hopefully I won't have any more issues. It just sucks because I liked that controller. It was a gift from a friend of mine. It would take a lot of extra work to sync these up, so this is why you're getting it like this. I do the best I can. Mafuyu! Ayame? Let's forget about what you're here for. Is it true that Rikimaru was kidnapped by Onikage? They just faced off not too long ago, and he kicked his ass. Seriously, he ran away like a little bitch. I don't know what you're up to, but you'd better tell me what's going on. You should really keep your voice down around here. Say what now? I hate to have to do this, but... What the? Mafuyu? Why? Please don't think ill of me. I'm doing this all for Lord Onikage. So I guess we were kidnapped. Hooray. That's a scene that could have been handled better if we actually had a cutscene. I may have been slightly critical of the voice actress that plays Ayame, but I would still take a normal cutscene over those bits of text. And hooray, another unlocked item. Now time for mission 3. Ayame is kidnapped and taken to a land she's not familiar with. While in her cell, Ayame is approached by some dude who tried to start a rebellion against Lord Goda. Ayame is really pissed off. You can read these if you want, but the wording choice that these people made is a bit strange. I would think if you were making the player read dialogue that you would make it as succinct as possible. Especially for these mission briefings. You must be Ayame. And you're Yuge? What are you doing here? Let's just get to business. I'm not that kind of girl! I'll kill you first! No, not that. How about in exchange for letting you go, you escort me out of here safely? I don't trust you, but it does look like you're my only ticket out of here. Excellent. There's no time to dawdle. Fine, let's get out of here. But if you even think of trying anything, you're a dead man. I'm not willing to say for sure we can trust this guy, but I guess we will find out. But guess what this means? Think of a game mechanic that gamers hate the most. That's right, kids. We have an escort mission. And if it sounds annoying, that's because it is. Now, with save states, it's not nearly as bad as it could have been. I can't imagine trying to do this without that option, though. And already the guy is being a git. It's like Sherry from Resident Evil 2. My original playthrough of that has been replaced by a new recording, but I remember when I first recorded that game,
What was that?
I remember getting really pissed off with Sherry because she would just stop if you got a little bit ahead of her, even if it was a straight path, and she could easily see where you're going. I tried a few options to pull off this stealth kill, but that seemed to be the easiest one. There's a pillar that you can hide behind if you want to go that route. But since we haven't hung off of any rooftops throughout most of this game, I figured that was the closest I was going to get. These are some really nice cave ambient sound effects. It would be nice if these were native to the game and not added in, but oh well. And as you can see, every time you need him to come along, you have to go all the way back to get him. I do like that he will stop in certain points so that you can deal with enemies. But it does get irritating having to wait for him. And that's why I do all the fast forwarding. Because I don't think you want me adding more video length just showing me go back to get him. So I'm assuming this cave is like a prison or something. And I assume later on we will find out more about this situation. Oh yes, kids, and there are traps. Tenchu is famous for those trapdoors that will drop you off into a bottomless pit. Okay, I assume it's not bottomless, but it's still a really far drop. I wish Ayame was bottomless. Oh yeah. I'm speaking of her clothing, not her lower half of her body, of course. That's right, kids, we're playing as Ayame, which means every now and again I have to break out being a perv. I was looking back at one of my Tomb Raider 2013 videos, and I forgot how much of a perv I used to be. It actually had me laughing a little bit. And then I got annoyed because I want to redo that video. Look what you get walking into a trap, you idiot. Fortunately, that was not an insta-death trap. Or I would have been annoyed. It's not even me being drunk during that video that annoyed me, although I didn't really like hearing my speech slur. And it wasn't that I didn't like the commentary that I had, it's the microphone I was using at the time was shit. And at times it was hard to hear me over the game audio. I still struggle to find decent microphones. This one is okay when it works, but I have a lot of issues with it. A lot of jumping over steps. I am excited at the idea of a Tenchu fan who's never played this game running into this LP at some point. That is something I always wanted to do, was use my channel to introduce people to other games that they might not have heard of. And apparently that happened. A recent viewer of mine told me the other day that he never would have played the Fear Effect games because he hasn't heard of them until he saw my channel, which is quite cool. And he proceeded to start recording gameplay of the first Fear Effect game. So that's cool. And the previous LP was Tenchu, so I'm always going to be a fan of that. Especially if it's the first Tenchu, which it was. I have said before, Tenchu 1 along with Resident Evil 3, the original, are tied for my 2 favorite games of all time. I'm pretty sure I said that on one of Ricky Maru's videos, actually. And I know I mentioned that on my Wrath of Heaven LP. That was recorded a long time ago, and my opinion has not changed. Oh god. Damn it, do not ruin my run! Nothing. You see nothing. Now turn your back and wait to die. Thank you. Part of the reason I'm not going to have as much variety in stealth kills is because I'm generally waiting until they turn their back to perform the kill, which makes sense if you're going for a stealth run. Going back to what I was talking about earlier this video, this camera does not make the normal combat fun. Wrath of Heaven had a lock-on option, if I remember correctly. I haven't played the game since my LP, so I could be wrong, but I think it did. Yes, dude, there are no more enemies. You should have been walking down here. Again, I hate having to kill the dog, but no choice. I'm not sure why getting spotted by a dog counts against your score. I guess because it makes noise, maybe? But if that dog doesn't attract any guards, I don't see why that would count against your rank. It's not like the dog is going to go tell somebody you were there. And frankly, there's going to be few people to tell after we're done with this place. Look, Yagu, or whatever your name is, just shut up, alright? It is weird that Ayame was held prisoner and they left her with her weapons. Unless this guy brought them to her. Which could be the case. They never really explain that. Yeah, I'm having to go back for that asshole.
There are chills going up my spine.
Fantastic. I don't actually care, guy. I don't care. Something else, I have also been upgraded to a moderator on Ty's Discord, which is kind of fun. Hopefully I'll never have to ban anyone, but I've already had to do that once. Which is actually what prompted that decision. Both me and the game's librarian got promoted to moderators. There's our next victim. I think he might be our final victim of this video. I really like this cave sound effect that I found. I'll definitely be hanging on to it in case I need it in a future LP. And yet another example of why I love save states. This next bit took me forever to figure out where I needed to go. And it's actually a pretty simple trek. We are actually pretty much headed the right way. Except we have to go back for Doofus. That git. Come on, dude. But once you get back over here, it's pretty much a straight shot. I don't think there are any traps in the way. I'm just moving slowly so that this asshole doesn't stop. I was looking to see if any more enemies would come up on the radar, and then remembered, oh yeah, we're being followed by this guy, so I'm not going to know if an enemy shows up. There aren't any more, though. But I don't know if there were any hanging about that we missed. Drop down here, and that will end the mission.
Alright then, I'll be on my way. Wait, you remind me of the man they call Ricky Maroon, except a lot hotter. Tell me what you know about him. Just that Onikage made sure that he won't be interfering. Onikage, the mind's eye inward shall show the true path. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? What path? The words themselves are a clue, but that's all I can give you, because I gotta be vague like that. Now then, I'll be on my way. See, I'm leaving you. What the? My head feels like a ton of bricks. I've got to hurry.
I'm not really sure what they are on about in this cutscene. The dialogue in this game is pretty strange at times. Still, that mission could have gone a lot worse. It just took me ages to get through. But that's it for this video. Let's check our rank. Well, it went by really quickly, but we got Grandmaster and we unlocked another item. So thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next time with more Tenchu Time of the Assassins.